Alright, so just running through the 2017 higher level service firms question. So this is question 6 on 2017. So it's coming up in section 2 of the paper. Service firms can come up as one of the shorter 60 mark questions in section 1, but in section 1 you'd always say do the final accounts question, whatever it may be. So if this comes up in section 1, you won't be doing it, you'll be doing the question 1, the long final accounts question. If it comes up here in section 2, it'll be worth 100 marks. In 2017 they wanted a statement of the company's reserves on the 1st of January. So that's the statement of capital, or what we'd call the accumulated fund in a club accounts question. They look for a profit loss from the shop for the year ended December 2016. So that's like your bar trading account in a club account question. Quite often that will be missing from a service firm account. It'll almost always be there in a club accounts question. You mightn't be asked to do it separately as part of your answer, but you'll have to do it to put it into the income and expenditure account. It sometimes won't appear in a service firm's question, but in this one it does. Profit and loss account, or your income and expenditure account, balance sheet then, and then just a little kind of theory question at the end. So what I'm going to do with this one is just run through these additional information, the adjustments, the workings first, and then I'll move on to the question then in separate videos. So we're doing a FitPro Fitness Centre for 2016. So these assets and liabilities at the start, these are what will go into that statement of capital or statement of reserves. Receipts and payments, I'll have to look in there for the statement of capital, see if there's anything kind of hidden in here that should be listed there. This will be my starting point for income, this will be my starting point for expenditure, but just remember this is a cash account, so we'll have to adjust these when we're putting them into that profit and loss account that we're asked for. But on to this additional information. So in 1, they tell me I've got closing stock for the shop of €1,800. So it's the shop that I'm asked to do the separate profit and loss for. So the shop stock of 1,800. Where's that going to go? Well, it's going to go in the shop profit and loss account in the cost of sales as closing stock. And it's going to go in your balance sheet as a current asset. You've also got heating oil of 400. So the heating oil then, that will also go on the balance sheet as a current asset. And then in the profit and loss, so you've got €5,600 light and heat. So we spent €5,600 light and heat in 2016, but €400 of that is heating oil, which is sitting there at the end of the year and will be used next year. So that will be used for light and heat in 2017. So we're going to take that €400 away. So it's going to go in the, so just I suppose subtract from light and heat when you're doing the P&L. Alright, there's different ways obviously you can show this working. So there I'm just saying what I'm going to do with it. On the profit and loss I'm going to subtract it from light and heat because it's for next year. Part 2, cleaning is done under a contract payable monthly in advance and includes a payment of €600 for January 2017. So I've got a contract cleaning expense here of €8,300. Of that, €600 is for January 17. So that will be cleaning prepaid, €600. So that is going to be subtracted from contract cleaning on the profit and loss because it's for next year. and then it's an expense prepaid. So I've paid some of next year's expense in advance, and that's a current asset on the balance sheet. Now, what might be a good idea is I'm saying I'm going to adjust light and heat before I put it into my profit and loss account. So after light and heat, maybe just point out that it's adjustment 1, just to remind yourself not to put the 5600 in, that you're going to have to adjust it in some way. And then contract cleaning in adjustment 2, I've done something to that. Third one then, members fees include €4,200 for 2017. Members fees in arrears at the end of the year were 2,700. So members fees here are €270,000. So you've got 2017 members fees of €4,200. Okay, so they were included in this 270 grand, but they're for next year, so they shouldn't be in this year's income and expenditure account. So they will be subtracted from members fees on the P&L because they're for next year. So beside members fees, maybe put that that's adjustment 3. And what else are you doing with it? So that's €4,200 that you've received already, and you will owe them the use of your gym next year. Okay, so that's a current liability, that income that's been prepaid. So that's going to go in the balance sheet as a current liability. All right. You've also got members fees in arrears at the end of the year. So 2016. So in arrears just means they haven't paid it yet. So 2016 members fees in arrears, and that is €2,700. So if they haven't been paid yet, they won't be included in that 270 grand because that's just cash in. So you're going to add that on to members fees in the P&L. So you're making 2 adjustments to that. And then that's money that you're owed at the end of the year. So that will be members fees due. So it's money you're owed. So it's like a debtor. We're not going to call it debtors, but it's going to go on the balance sheet as a current asset, not 2,700. The closing bank figure does not take into account bank charges of €110. So part 4. So bank charges of €110. Well, they should go on the P&L as an expense. And what did it say? The closing bank figure does not take into account bank charges of 110, so that should be subtracted from your bank figure as well. So subtracted from bank in the balance sheet, either current asset or current liability, wherever it is. Okay, so it's going to go on the profit and loss as an expense, and it's going to go in the bank, in the balance sheet, being subtracted from your bank figure. Okay. Closing bank figure, there's not a dishonoured check of $950 received from a member in respect of fees. So that €950. So if the check is dishonoured, we would have assumed that $950 was received and it will be included in our closing bank figure. So dishonoured check of €950. That will be also subtracted from bank. So we received that check, we would have put it in as a receipt, but then it turned out it bounced and we didn't actually get the €950. So we have put it into our bank account. We now need to take it out. So take away from bank on the balance sheet. And then the other adjustment for it, we might be tempted to take it out of members fees, but the €950 is still members fees for 2016. We're owed the money for it, but we're assuming we're going to get the $950, so it should still be included in members fees, but it will be another $950 for members fees in arrears. Okay, so it will be added on to this 2,700, so it'll actually be 2,700 plus 950. 3,650 will be the members fees in arrears. Okay, so plus members fees in arrears in the balance sheet, a current asset. So that's it there. So that's 2,700 and 950. So it's 3,650. So again, you could show these workings differently. You could have members fees in arrears. 2,700 plus 950 is 3,650, and kind of do it kind of item by item. I'm just saying what I'm going to do with them, and I'll actually do the addition and subtraction when I come to it in the profit and loss, in the balance sheet, wherever it is. Just what have I stopped doing? So in part 4, yeah, so your bank charges and your dishonored check are going to come off the bank balance at the end of the year. So that 3,300 is being adjusted by adjustment 5. So just put a 5 after that. All right.